Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Inside the Comedy Institute, where we discuss comedy as it stands, as it was, as it lives, and as it breathes right now. I'm very excited this time around to have with us Mr. Josh Nasar, a hilarious comic who I've known and worked with for over a decade and a half. And as we know, one of the toughest things is that, stand-up comedy is kind of like being a painter in a world of graphic designers. It's the old analog art craft that we all love, but the technology side of it has become a huge part of developing your audience, expanding your fan base, and being able to get out there and actually do road work. So I'm happy to have with me today Mr. Josh Nasar, who you're someone who has managed to embrace the technology and seen a real difference in your career. So let's just start at the very beginning, Josh. And we've known each other 16, 17 years now. How long have you been doing stand-up?
I started stand-up on and off 1996, maybe. I mean, I used to carpool to improv class with Jimmy Fallon. Like, wow, that's how long. Yeah. We used to go to the Groundlings. And then I was doing it, and then I wasn't doing it, and then I had a company, and then I don't know, 15 years ago, I started focusing on it, really focusing on it. And, I've been booking stuff, able to make a living. But up until recently, it's just been grinding away. And now I'm lucky enough with the social media to be able to do a little bit more what I want.
And you had TV gigs along the way, too. It's not like you didn't.
No, I hosted a show for Discovery Networks. I was on a show called Sons of Anarchy. I had a show on MTV. I hosted my own show on ESPN. So I did these things, but a lot of these shows, I'll film 40 episodes and it runs for 10 years, Right. So it's not like you're getting paid residuals on all this.
Right. And yet, despite all that exposure, I know this too, because it was the same thing for the shows that I've done for like True TV, that World's Dumbest Stuff. It's still airing right now, but a lot of it doesn't actually add up to being the break that you need to go on to that next level, right?
Yeah, I mean, the break is just when you can dictate people coming out to your shows. Kevin Hart puts out a tweet, and for a better example, Dave, I heard this, I don't know if it's true or not. Dave Chappelle was on a street corner in Seattle, had a little speaker box, started talking, and thousands of people showed up.
Yeah.
When you can dictate and have people come out and it's very symbiotic, they're happy, you're happy, everybody's chill, that's success to me.
It really is the difference. I mean, that's the thing. There are two classes of comedians, really. And there's comedians that are a draw, and then there's the rest of us. And the draw is usually you're famous for something, so people want to see you. And it really has anything to do with your ability on stage. So many great comedians aren't really a draw. I call us the working class comics. In other words, they know that this club is hiring professional comedians, so that it's going to be a good show, but they're not going there specifically to see that guy necessarily. They're going to that club and trusting that they've booked a professional comedian.
And now, I would say inversely, though, at least 90 to 99, 95, 97% of the people who are famous doing stand-up are pretty darn good at it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Most of them really earned it. Most of them, It came at a point where when it happened for them, they were more than ready for the opportunity. And then there's some that are really kind of were already famous for something else and then decided, oh, guess what? I'm a comedian. And it isn't really quite the same journey when you approach it that way.
And at the end of the day, none of it matters. We're all going to die. So I'm not worried about what they're doing. However they got famous, good for them. I don't care.
No, I don't begrudge them that either. It's like, listen, if I was famous, that's the way it goes, but for me, I wanted the art before, to lead to the fame, to the palace of gold, and not the other way around. So now, would you say that TikTok has changed your career after doing this and being great at it, being a great comedian, being hilarious, rocking stages for 20 years? Do you feel that TikTok has been the thing that really changed your career?
Not yet, because it's not just TikTok. It's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. At the point right now, I can definitely sell some tickets wherever I go, but I'm not doing theaters.
Right.
Theaters is, when you're doing 2,000 and 3,000 seats, that's great. I don't want to do 7 shows with 150 people each show maybe come to see me, maybe don't. That's not my goal. I don't want to be that guy who's in Wichita on a random Sunday. I really, really am working to be able to do an event. I want to do an event.
Be a draw, to be a big time draw.
Yeah, I want to be a draw. And also for that, the experience for them is dope. When you come out, I mean, I'm looking at the big comics, the guys that go out and really do it. And people, they get dressed up. They're excited. It's a big thing. It's dope. You know, like the big comics that draw, that to me seems really, really fun.
Do you think you're more of a draw than you were before?
150%. 150%. The fact that I have 2.6 million on TikTok, 163,000 on Instagram, and 460,000 or 470 on Facebook.
Now, what were those numbers like before you really started gaining traction on TikTok?
So in the last 90 days, I have had on Instagram, I've gained 117,238 followers. I know this down to the penny.
Exact numbers, yeah.
I do know that on Facebook, on my fan page, I had 9,300. It was dormant on December 7th of 2000. I posted, I get 3 likes. So I went from 9,000 and approximately 8 weeks to 470,000. TikTok, I started December 15th, 2020. And it's now whatever we're at right now. So 15 months later.
Now, when you started on TikTok, did you start it with the intention, you know what, I'm going to focus on this and this is where it's going right now. I've seen these trends before. I identify, or is it one of those things that you started kind of dabbling with it and then maybe it began to work for you and you began to see potential in it?
I was sitting in my carport in my old apartment building. And you have those, some people call them God shots or light shots, whatever. You're like, ooh, I really remember this. Epiphany. I remember sitting there and I remember the head movement too. I think I might have said this to you. Look to the left and I go, I'm either going to be a success during this shutdown. I'm either going to be a success. And I look to the right, or I'm going to be a failure. And something in me goes, no, I'm going to be a success. And I move my head back to left. I remember that moment. I didn't know what it was. And when I tell you, I would drive up and down the same street for 8 hours to get my shot. I would shoot a video, 6-7 hours, pull over on a side street, some random street in LA, edit the video on my laptop, upload it, start watching it gain to 100, 200, 300,000 followers. While it's going to 1 million, I'm back on the street filming another video. So I would film 3 videos a day for a year, and I didn't stop. And then I was up until 2:30 or 3 in the morning and back up at 8 in the morning editing, and then posting by 10:45 a.m. I mean, that's all that I do. That's
it. And I remember when this happened, I remember we were talking about this and I was so jealous because you had solved so many problems with the pandemic in that you were getting out of the house and you were creating content and you were having fun. And that was really the challenge of the pandemic was, how can I get out of my house safely? How can I create content safely? And how can I have a little fun doing it? And you managed to do it all at the same time. And I was like, this is just brilliant. And you were interacting with people, which was another thing that we were all craving and missing so much during the pandemic. And you managed to find this formula to do it all. And it wasn't, and here's the other thing that I find incredibly,
Greg, just lost your picture.
Sorry. I got someone was calling me. Here's the other thing that I found incredibly interesting about it was that it wasn't just posting crowd work. It wasn't just posting stand-up material. You created something new. You created something. Now people are hacking it and they're duplicating it, but it's not really the same thing. That's what I heard. Someone told me that other people are doing other car videos now too. I haven't seen that much of it either. For me, you created now that idea. Tell me about how so now you're like, I'm going to be a success. You see TikTok and where does the idea come from? Not to do stand up on it, but to say, I'm going to create X kind of videos. Where did this idea come from? And of course it took the balls to do it.
When I was 18 years old, I was filming videos and sending them into MTV. When I was 20 years old, when I was 25 years old, when I was 28, I was filming videos and sending them in to networks to try to be on TV. I was actually on a TV show called Buzzkill on MTV.
I remember that show, yes.
Yeah, and they buzzkilled me to the point where we almost tried to sue MTV. They told me it was an audition, I had hidden cameras, and they made me look really, really bad. And then they posted.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, John Miller, if you're out there, fuck you. Fuck you, John Miller. Like that's a person that really was hurtful for no reason. But I
see,
didn't
I don't really remember the content of the show. I just remember the title.
Yeah,
so, but it was a prank show.
It was a prank show. It was I thought it was very, very fun. And they brought me on and they buzzkilled me. And my feelings were really, really hurt. But I go, I'm going to keep going. That's negativity. And I'm going to keep going. And I remember being I remember being angry at that guy and going, why would you do that to me? Like, you know? And they didn't make me look good. But I just kept doing it and doing it. And then, I mean, I've always been doing this as a kid, you know, just silly acting out stuff. And then I just started getting hidden cameras and I started driving around in my car and doing it. And that was it.
Yeah. So you just had an idea and you followed it and it turned out to be the thing. You know, it's interesting you say that about the show. Like, I don't think anybody has a career in the arts without some seriously painful bumps in the road.
It was really hurtful. I mean, I remember I had 50 of my friends over my little apartment, you know, it was all full and they had the premiere of the show. And then they basically pranked me as a guy auditioning and everybody just kind of walked out slowly. It was like, it was really, really, it was hurtful. And there was, and they didn't let me in on it. They didn't say, hey, by the way, at the end, they didn't do anything. They edited and aired it. And I go, that's not nice. Yeah, I remember that.
Well, you know, and I say this a lot, and comedians, we deal with this a lot, and I've dealt with it firsthand as well. I always say, you know, because comics are always like, do you think I should try out for this show? Do you think I should try out for that show? And I say, just remember, when you fuck with reality TV fucks with you back. And that's the risk you're running. Yes, you see these shows where one guy every year becomes the celebrated comedian from it. But for every one of those, there's 40 that they're going to try to make look stupid. And that's their formula. You're either the one they're going to celebrate or you're on the losing team.
That's what happened to me. But I kept going.
Yeah, and I think we all do. I think if you're a real artist, you just shake it off and you're like, this is not going to define me. That is not what I'm about. They couldn't see who I am, but I know who I am. And you do have to believe. How much do you think self-belief is important to the journey?
I think I would go further if I had true self-belief. What I think I've learned, you know this about me, I did door-to-door sales. I sold frozen foods door-to-door for 21 years. And knocking on door after door after door, there was no self-belief. You just, it was almost like a soldier, you know, you just went. It was almost like a robot, a better example. You just kept going and kept knocking until that 10,000, there was no belief, you were numb. So I think a lot of it, I probably would do better if I had more self-belief. But I think it's just a matter of numb. Like perfect example, you know, those UFC fighters, they have the little things on their ears.
Yeah.
You just get these, you get this big calluses. You don't even feel it now, you know?
Right.
I mean, I had a horrible day today, a horrible day. And I'm just like, all right, I'm going to keep moving. You know,
so wow. And I think that's an amazing revelation. I mean, you're saying more so than your self-belief is the ability to just not feel it and keep going.
Or you feel it and you just keep going.
Yeah.
That's the truth of it. Because what else am I going to do? Go to Wichita and sell window siding?
No, you're exactly right. It's so easy to get discouraged, especially in a town in LA, like LA, where you're seeing certain people pop for whatever reason all around you. And it's real easy to be like, well, why not me? And so many people get discouraged and leave. And it's harder to say, okay, well, that's them. This is me, and I'm going to keep going. And that is, and I often say that to myself, I will say, Greg, just go forward.
That's it. And I don't say, why not me? I know why not me. I know what my downfalls were and still are that keep me from being successful. It's really simple. It's all my inner self.
Yeah.
It is.
You think that's all it is, that it's you that's kind of been holding you back?
Oh, 100%. My anger issues, my short-term anger issues, getting involved. I've said to you a million times, you know, there was people that I didn't get along with, that I didn't like. Why would I even interact with them? 99% of the time, you know, I'm learning now. It's just like, perfect example. You probably teach this in your classes. if you're in front of an audience of 100 and 2 people aren't laughing, as a young comedian, I would talk to them.
Right. We focus on those 2 instead of ignoring those 2 and rocking everybody else.
Because any test in the world, any country, any language, any math, English, if you have a 98 out of 100, you got an A.
Right.
So why is it different? So what I should have done is not get involved with that nonsense. You think Tiffany Haddish, you think Kevin Hart care what's going on in this lower level?
Yeah.
They're up and out.
Yeah.
You know, so that's something that held me back. I should have just shut my mouth, done my job.
Yeah. But again, I don't think any career in the arts is without these bumps in the road, both self-created and created from the outside. I mean, because the arts isn't a job. It isn't like I'm just great at accounting, you know, like it isn't, there isn't a natural progression of, you know, you go to a junior associate, vice president, you know, senior vice president, you know, executive. There's no ladder like that for us.
Two things real quick. I love this. A guy that I know said this. He goes, there's no yellow brick road in Hollywood. If there was, everybody would go on it.
Yeah.
There's no, like you said, and also, and this goes along with what you just said, there's no 401k, there's no pension,
nope.
There's no retirement. So everybody is free falling and grabbing other people's energies. There's not, you know, so we're all like picture just falling out of a plane going, how am I going to grab a parachute so I can get up? That's what
we're all falling out of an airplane trying to fly. And you see some people take flight and you're like, okay, I got to do that. I got to like, phew.
And not only that is when you take flight, people try to grab onto you.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Especially once you begin to take flight. Then they're like, oh shit, I should have hung out with that guy.
I mean, a lot of people look at me.
Though, it is a lot of times it is being close to someone who does take off and then they give you a leg up. So much of this business is about someone giving you a leg up onto that next level. And comics, I believe in particular, are very not willing to do that for each other very often.
I think if you can help them,
yeah,
you know. I mean, you know, Bill Maher has been helping me because I'm a political comedian for as long as.
Yes. Your astute political analysis is the hallmark of your career for sure.
And I bring that up because it's funny when I do my live and I do my videos, people go, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? I go, I scream at people from a car. Don't ask me. I'm staying in my lane.
Don't ask me about the Ukraine.
Yeah, don't ask. Yeah. I don't know. Now, do I have thoughts and opinions? But I'm not educated on that. I don't know anything. And what I do know would be so limited. And I think a lot of people try to spread themselves so thin. I know what I am. I am silly, funny, goofy guy. And that's what I do. That's what
I'm great at it.
That's what I do. I'm not going to be this, you know, an intelligent comedian that really discussed world politics because I'm not well read like that, you know?
No, and I say this in the workshops. I'm like, don't worry about what other people are doing. Do what you do, however you love to do it that way. Because that's the only way you can stick with it is if you're doing it the way that you enjoy doing it. If you're trying to do it the way you think somebody else would want you to do it, that's when you're grinding gears and you're probably going to drop out of it sooner than later because it isn't the way you really want to be doing it. You're only doing it to please somebody else. And so you're not going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I think that's once I started doing the car videos, I enjoyed it. And I knew not most people can't do it. There's a couple people who try to do it, meaning they'll drive by and they go, oh, you look pretty today or whatever, which is their own thing. But nobody's doing it with comedy and nobody's doing open, middle, setup, punchline, drive away 15 seconds or shorter. Like my paradigm is very specific.
And the way that you do it is what you're saying is true in that the engagement, that was what really, I think, blew me away. And I think that's what engaged most people about it is your willingness to fully engage this person in the moment, no prep. You are putting yourself at the end of the diving board, diving into it and hoping there's water. And
you know where that comes from? 21 years of door-to-door sales, knocking on tall, short, big, small, rich, not rich,
not
famous,
knowing what's going to open that door.
No idea. And also having to turn them from opening the door to giving you thousands of dollars within 7 to 10 minutes.
Wow.
I mean, literally. I mean, I've sold me, you know, Russell Peters, one of the biggest comedians in the world. I pushed a freezer off the back of the truck. He bought $5,784 of meat. I was inside of his house DJing, not knowing who he was. This is when he just first came to the United States. And I'm like, oh, you're a huge comedian.
Wow.
I sold meat to Keanu Reeves, the running back Jim Brown. And then I've had guns pulled on me in the same day.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I could see where that would directly transit, because in that environment, because I've done, back when I was a kid, I did door-to-door sales for newspapers. I would sell subscriptions, you know, and so I'd go to, hey, do you want to take the Dallas Morning News? So I went through that process too. And the thing is, in that environment, there, much like it is today, you know, it starts from a very defensive position initially. The energy from the other person is, what do you want? And you can, and I think that you can sense that in your videos, that there's an initial, you know, lack of, what are you after here? And then you break them. And the change of that energy, I think, is the magic to the videos that you create.
Yep.
Because I think people associate with that tension of, oh, this isn't going to go good. You know, especially some of the characters you talk to, you talk to cops. Yeah. That's the one you talk to guys who look like they're slanging rock. You talk to to girls who look like debutantes. You talk to the police. And sometimes when I see these videos start, I'm like, this crazy motherfucker, he will talk to anybody.
You know why? You know what I found out? I don't care what your background, what your ethnicity, what your orientation is. 99 to 112% of the people are the kindest human beings in the world. If you're nice to them, they're nice back. Doesn't matter what you are.
I think that that's true too. I think in the first line, if you can establish you're not a threat to them, the defenses come down, because I'm a talker. I'm a talker. I like to talk to people, especially if something's going on in the room and I'm there by myself. You know, we're comedians. We travel alone quite a bit. So I find myself at places by myself. And if something, I'm going to want to talk about it to whoever's around me, you know, I'll be like, you know, what is going on over here? And I'll just turn to people, and it much like initially there's a defensive, like, and then they realize, oh, you're not attacking me. You're just talking to me. And then the defenses come down, and it turns out they are a totally normal person, just like you're a relatively normal person. But I think your videos have that tension to them with the release, which of course we know is a foundation element of comedy. That I think you just naturally tap into, because people just don't talk to strangers these days.
Yeah. And the nice thing is I'm now taking it out of the car and doing it.
Oh, is that right? You're doing it like first person on foot.
Yeah, I did it.
How many of these have you shot?
I think I have about 5 or 6. I actually, it was really fun. I was at the hospital, just Cedars-Sinai, just getting like a regular checkup. And they come in to take the blood pressure. And I had my whole hidden cameras hidden and everything. And I'm start screaming because of blood pressure. Screaming. And she's dying laughing. And I just kept screaming. Bang, funny, laugh. I told her what I do afterwards. I went back. I had a follow-up appointment like 3 weeks later. It's the same nurse. I don't acknowledge her. I don't even acknowledge that I've talked to her. I don't acknowledge that I talked to her and her daughter on Instagram to say, hey, I'll give you free comedy tickets. I don't say a word, you know? I go, I say nothing. She does the same thing, and I do the same bit. And she starts dying. She's dying, and I'm screaming so loud that her colleagues come in the door trying to make sure everybody's okay, and we're all laughing.
That's awesome. No, but this is more now. That's more of a prank, though. So that's kind of shifting your. You don't
Frank,
think that's a shift in style?
Frank is this mic. It's very 2007. Can't see you.
Sorry.
To me, a prank is very 2000. I'm just giving it just generic 2007, where the person is the butt of the joke. It's on you.
Yeah.
This, what I try to do when I would never post anything other. It's something that uplifts them and makes them look good. Where if it bounced around the world and their mom, sisters, cousins, brothers, uncles sent it to him, they would laugh.
Yeah.
So a prank to me is something where I'm getting you, you know, like punked. It's just a different style. It's like roasting. I try to do just a little bit the opposite of that. Yeah. So as long as they're laughing and they look good, then I'll post it. If not, I won't post anything.
So do you think it's going to be a thing like you're going to accumulate a series of these in-person videos and then start releasing those as on your TikTok channel?
No, I've already done it. They have millions of views. I already have.
Oh, okay. So you've already started posting. So you just mix them in with the car videos.
Oh,
some of them are just in person. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if there was a direct strategy or release strategy or anything like that. Nope. You're just cranking and burning and churning.
Yeah, I want to do that. And the next step now is to get sponsors, Tide, Colgate, Crest, American Airlines, so-and-so resort in Hawaii. And then I pull up next, let's say I pull up next to you and your wife or fiance. I do my joke. I pull over. What's going on? Oh, well, we were supposed to go on our trip. So-and-so lost his job. And I'm like, well, here's $5,000. Here's a free trip to Hawaii. Here's a washer and dryer. You have a way to get it home? No. Well, here's a brand new Ford truck. Have a good day. Yeah. That's the idea, is to start giving away products. That's next where I'm going with it.
That's awesome. Now, so how many hours a day are you dedicating just to your to TikTok and ostensibly, obviously, so via that to the other platforms?
My average screen time on my phone for the last week is 15 hours and 7 seconds a day, and I sleep 7 hours a night. Yeah.
So you were now were you that way from the, like you just described it, from the jump? You were like, I'm all in on this, and so you are now full-time making your living as a social media artist?
I'm full-time making a living of that, and just I have mental health buddies who also do the social media, and I need to check out for a few days. I need a mental break. So that's part of it too, is allowing myself to not get that dopamine hit of getting millions of views and just take a break. Like, I didn't film yesterday. I reposted videos today, but you know, I'm not in it right now. I'm not. Yeah. I don't feel it, you know?
So how long of a break do you usually, when you take a break? Oh, so it's indeterminate. It's about when you get, this is the first break you've taken.
For maybe a day, a couple here, maybe, I don't remember, but my mind was still in it. Like, I need a mental break.
Yeah.
Like, I need to,
because it does seem like you are nonstop creating these videos.
Yeah. Well, it's changing my life.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So you would say TikTok has in fact changed your life?
I would say the idea of TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube together are in the process of, and I've already changed my life 100%. To answer your question long form, sorry, I know you asked a while ago, but yes, I would definitely say it also allows me, and you know this, it allows me a creative outlet at any point. Greg, you can say, hey, meet me in the valley for a sandwich. I'm like, all right, I'll film on the way. Hey, go to the doctor. I'll film on the way. Go to the gym. I'll film. I can film 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the morning. I shoot and edit it myself, so it allows me not to have to wait for the powers that be to pick me, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. Now, do you think this takes discipline? You know, people say, you know, do what you love. You do what you love. You never work a day in your life. And I think that's bullshit, because I love to do stand up and it's a lot of work. I think work is work, and you know, it'll never be all playtime. We work very hard so we can have really great playtime. But do you think that it is about the amount of work that you put into it, the commitment you made to this voluminous work that made it work? Because it seems like what you did isn't luck. It seems like you really focused on it and created at such a high level that you were able to generate traction. Do you feel if you would have done 1 a day, 3 a week, something like that, you know, gave it 2-3 hours a day, that you would have seen the same success?
This is such a great thing, and you'll understand this more than most too, is there's a lot of unsaid things that you probably teach in your classes. There's a lot of unsaid nuances that I've learned by immersing myself, by rage emailing Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, going, why are you doing this? The algorithm, like by studying online at 2 in the morning, the algorithm, how it works, all of those things enable me to produce better. What does that mean? Well, I look at the back end analytics. I study the analytics. It's crazy. My video is 15 seconds long. Maybe some are 16, 99.9 or 15 seconds long. The punchline is at average at 13.1 seconds. The average watch time is 12.1 seconds. They're leaving before the punchline. So knowing those analytics, I would not have known those unless I had put in all of that extra work until 2 in the morning, studying every nuance, looking at the back end analytics, studying 150 videos and figuring out the numbers to go, oh, the next video that I post, in order to get those views, I need to try to hit those algorithms.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. I think that we all see it as you get lucky, but this is not a you get lucky. This is you got to put in the work.
I took 7 hours studying how Facebook would monetize. 7 hours. I went on, I communicated with them. I now have an open line chat where I talk to Facebook pretty much whenever I want through a chat feature, which I could give you. It's not hard, but I found it buried somewhere online. But it took me 7 hours to get that. Now, anytime I have a question, I go boop, boop, boop. Within 3 to 5 minutes, I'm on talking with Facebook. Facebook pays about 25 times the amount that TikTok pays. So now I'm making a living off of Facebook, not off TikTok. TikTok doesn't pay that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So these companies, the fact that TikTok was a thing that numerically blew you up, you're getting more money from the views you're getting over on Facebook. Now, were you even initially posted, and do you just post them to your fan page, to what is it, Facebook Watch? I don't even know. I think most people have abandoned Facebook. So I find this incredibly interesting that in doubling back to the original, now you're making more money over there than you were over in the thing that everyone thinks is the main track.
So essentially, and by the way, everything that I'm telling you has been an accumulation of my experience and some of my peers who I have mental health buddies in the creator community. In my experience, all of these platforms, it's like the Wizard of Oz. They never answer questions. There's no information online. It's just fear-based information. So everything I'm giving you is just mine. I post the same video across all 4 platforms. So you can essentially monetize TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, sponsorship, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can get live money on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. So you can get paid 12 times for one video, essentially, if you're monetized, but you have to apply to get monetized. How do you know how to do that? Spending 7 hours. So I put together a one sheet that I've texted to 50 comedians of how to get monetized on all these platforms.
Wow.
Yeah, I took the time.
And I'm going to ask this, and maybe I'll cut it out. But would you mind if making that available to my students?
No, not at all. 100% I'll do it. Yeah.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
that would be amazing. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, and
because
and
again, this is
a toggle of a switch. It's, do you want to monetize? Yes. 24 hours later, boom. That's it. That's it.
And the content, though, I mean, for Facebook probably has to be pretty, I mean, you create clean content. So it's not even an issue.
Opposite. TikTok will ban you for everything. TikTok is the worst as far as banning. I have a friend who's a celebrity. He's smoking weed on TikTok. He has a joint. He's smoking a joint. I pull up next to somebody and go, excuse me, sir, I'm going to ask you a question. I don't want you to smile. I don't want you to smile. On a scale of 1 to 10, how high are you right now? That video got banned and my account got banned for a week by asking a question. Didn't even show it. He didn't even show it. TikTok is the worst.
And did you even know why you'd been banned?
That the video got banned and then I got banned. It was from that video.
Wow.
Now,
holy
Facebook,
crap.
You can post anything you want. Facebook doesn't care. They don't care. Yeah. And the note that I got from TikTok was, while some substances or subject matter may be legal in your jurisdiction, in some of our jurisdictions, it's not. So TikTok is worldwide, maybe CBD or weed is. And by the way, I didn't show it. I just referenced it. So now
you just asked a question about it. Yeah.
Now all of my videos on TikTok, I've taken down everything that is racy. It's all straight down the middle, country club, all ages appropriate. Yeah. It's not as funny to me, but it's they're the game, they're the referees, they're the rules, they're the judge and the jury and executioner.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then the other content, though, you can actually put that on Facebook, and of the platforms, you're saying Facebook pays the best.
Give you an idea, my experience, TikTok pays $25 per million views. Facebook pays in between 1,000 to 1,500 per million views.
Good God. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's a substantial
YouTube pays $10,000 per million views. What I've heard. I'm just starting YouTube.
Right. You're just starting to develop that revenue stream as well.
And by the way, all of them are copying TikTok. They all have a Reels feature now.
Yes,
short
yes.
form.
And apparently Instagram right now is pushing their Reels feature really hard. So now's a great time to be posting Reels on Instagram, because they're trying, again, yeah, everyone's trying to bring that audience back that had migrated over in force to TikTok.
And this is a great example of stand-up comedy. My buddy Vinny Fastline actually said it. Somebody asked him what his favorite comedy club is. He goes, the one that puts me up the most.
Yeah,
that's my favorite club.
Absolutely.
So the one that pays the most, that's my favorite platform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, what's your home club? The one that books me the most.
That's
like,
it.
You know, a lot of people like to pick their own home club, but a lot of times your home club picks you. It's the one that books you the most, you know, and that's my home club. So I get that completely. Well, man, this has been more
boring
than a little bit enlightening. No, dude, this has been incredible. I mean, it really is, because this is, especially for older comics like myself, who are used to working in this very analog format, to really begin to get some insight into what has become a very important part of what we do. Like I said, being a comedian feels like being a painter in a graphic design world, you know, and it's like, you got to learn how to translate it into graphic design so everybody can see it. And so I think what you've done is been, and listen, I've been impressed with the journey the entire way. Watching you start it, watching you blow it up, watching you have fun doing it. You know, I've been cheerleading it. You know, I watch the videos. I have a fun time doing it. So thank you very much for sharing this incredible insight. I know I have learned, I know I'm inspired by it. And of course, obviously, that additional information that I can share with the other comics, I mean, it's just, it's invaluable. It really, really is. And for you to share it is really an amazing thing. So thank you very much, Josh. I super appreciate it.
And no problem. And I will tell you, it's changing every day, and they also don't know, because they're just like they dictate us, we dictate them. So if a million people are telling these platforms to do something, they're going to do it. So you have to stay on top. You've got to research. I mean, if you want to do this, it's got to be a 15, 16-hour a day job. That's my opinion. For me.
Wow. You got to do the work. Just like anything else, you got to do the work.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing, man. Any other, when it comes to interacting in this realm, is there any other advice? I mean, obviously you've given so much here today.
Yes.
You know, in terms of, but what else would you tell comics?
Block and delete. I used to get into it with people. I mean, one of my bits on stage, and it's true, is if somebody trolls me online, what I do is I go onto Instagram and I find them, and then I'll FaceTime them 150 times when I'm ever in a bad mood until they pick up. And then I just rage at them. Because, yeah, I'm like, what are you doing? Remember me? And they go, no, I was kidding. I go, no. Now it's too late. And it was fun. I'd have my friends around. We were laughing. But it took up time, because there are people that have told me to unalive myself. All of my videos are positive. One guy sent me a voice message. You have an annoying voice. Take your Audi A4. By the way, I drive a Toyota. Take your Audi A4, drive it off a cliff, and unalive yourself. At 2 PM on a Wednesday, just sent me a voice message.
Joy.
No reason. So what I've learned, the biggest thing is you don't even let it touch you. You see the negativity, you read the comment, you delete it and block them, and then delete first so it doesn't, and then block them immediately. You keep it moving. I mean, you just delete. You do not allow any negativity at all whatsoever, because you could post the most wonderful, cute content, and people, for whatever reason, I don't even need to figure it out. I just delete, and I've learned that.
No, haters are going to hate, and not only are haters going to hate, but they're encouraged. They're inspired. They want some deflected. And I always say this, like, I never respond to negative comments that people make, because what I know that what they want is to know that I read it and was affected by it. So regardless, any response I give them, that's the win for them. That they managed to reach someone who's being creative and putting themselves out there and fucked with them and took some of the shine off them. Ha ha, fuck you, I got him. I fucking got him. And I have found that silence is the best response. Just no.
It's very hard though.
It is hard,
buddy.
It's hard because you'll think about it and you'll want to fucking get them and fucking be, oh, you think that, but really responding to them is all they want. To know, I got him. I see, look what he said to me. Oh, someone's a pussy. So I always just don't even respond. I think that silence is usually the best response. And like you said, yeah, just delete it, block them, move on with your life, because it isn't worth the energy. It really is. And it's only going to learn to a different exchange with someone you don't even know. It's a fucking troll. Yeah. Fuck this person.
And also not to discount, there are people out there that have mental deficiencies or something's going on with them that we think that they're coming from a place of knowing. Maybe they're not. Maybe they have something that they're not as smart, and their intention is not negative. You know, right. So we're assuming their intention, and maybe they're just a person who doesn't understand, you know, so you can't, so, you know, that's one of the things too, is having compassion. That's what I'm trying. I have failed dozens of times where I've contacted people, dozens, gone back and forth with them. You know, in the beginning, I would be like, why would you do that? Like, I really lost my mind.
Yeah.
But I'm learning to have compassion. I still mess up. And just say, oh, maybe that person's hurting. Maybe they went through a divorce. Maybe they have a sickness. Just, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I have found that I just, you know what? I know you want to get a rise out of me. So rather than allow that, I'm just going to ignore you. And you're never going to know whether I ever even looked at that. And that's just, you know, I've always felt that was the only way to really kind of leave them hanging. Because otherwise, then again, all they want to know is that they got to you. To them, that's all they want. It's weird. It's sickening that people that's their only way of getting some kind of a spotlight for the day. But you know,
can I tell you one thing real quick? And I haven't been able to put it on stage. Maybe you can help me. But I was in Idaho, and I was at a Jimmy John's. If you don't know what it is, it's like a Subway. The sub is maybe $5, $6. Maybe the top Subway is $7.
Right.
And I was doing a live, and I was just eating a meatball sub. Nothing expensive. I'm in a fast food restaurant. I ate, had a wonderful talk, nice people. And then I got a message after, and some guy goes, you know, you shouldn't eat on your lives because some people don't have food. After like having a wonderful time communicating with people all over the world. I mean, that's the insanity that you get. And
that's what I'm saying. People, it's like people just look for anything to be outraged at. Just anything they can take umbrage with. Oh, well, you know what? You shouldn't be eating. Some people don't have, like, you know, you shouldn't breathe. You shouldn't be breathing because, you know, there are a lot of people that don't breathe anymore. So my aunt, she doesn't breathe. She hasn't breathed in 10 years.
Like, there's the bit. Thank you very much. I knew I could come to you. I'm gonna go, guys. I've stopped breathing. You know, some people are alive. I'm not breathing. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. It's so ridiculous. God. And that's, I think, the dark side to this whole process is that you put this work out there, you want people to enjoy it, but inevitably it's going to come with people being assholes directly to you.
Yeah.
And that hurts no matter who you are.
It does.
It hurts. Even though you have millions of followers, and this is just some fucking flea that just showed up. You're just still human, and this is still your work. And you're trying to do good, sharing, fun work and positive, and then they just gotta try and snatch it away from you. And that I think is the hardest part about creating in this you know, digital space where people can just be fucking assholes, you know, without feeling any fear of retribution.
I want to do a TV show. Remember the show Catfish?
Yeah.
On MTV, where they go to the person. I want to do that one. My friend actually made up the idea of the show was called Front Street, putting them on Front Street. Yeah. Somebody trolls and you just show up with a camera crew to their house and going, kink. So what did you mean by that? And just right in their face. Why would you know? That's actually a really magnificent idea. Just to track the trolls down and put them on blast. Yeah. I love that idea. The show would be called Trolls. Yeah. But it wouldn't be worth it because you have to find people that really were trolls, like really, really bad. And it's also a negative sphere where I don't want to get into, but that's where I'm like, you know, listen, I think that's a great idea. And I think it can make a great show because it isn't, so many of them hide behind fake accounts. They're not, real trolls are not easy to find because they're true cowards. They're hiding behind fake accounts that you can't find them ever. You know, so they could sit there and make their shitty little remarks. I can tell you, at least my experience, 99% of them who make negative comments have 2 or 4 followers. They don't have the big creators. They're not doing that. They're out there.
No,
creating,
absolutely not.
working.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's people that just, a lot of them, I don't know who they are, but they certainly just don't have anything else to do. So they're going to try and steal a little of your thunder. And that might make them feel better for a half a minute, you know, but I think a lot of it, I think if you were to find them, I think you would find a lot of them are not who they purport themselves to be. Let's put it that way.
Do you think a lot of them, if you showed up to their house, would end up looking more like, pause for comedic effect, you or me?
I think they by far would look like me. I think, yeah, guys that look like you are out fucking enjoying their lives. Guys who look like me are like, well, fucking no one wants to swipe on me on Tinder. Fucking take this guy down, million likes, motherfucker. You know, but thank you for making that distinction so personal. But I agree. I think that's what you would see. You find, and a lot of them I don't think are actually even mean people in real life. I think they just love this secret little like thing, you know, kind of gets their rocks off a little bit. But I think at the end of the day, they're probably not even people that would ever do that in person.
No, and I understand where it comes from, because you probably see online, we have a group of guys and all we do online is we roast each other, you know?
Yeah.
I started
a GoFundMe. Know
GoFundMe.
Each other. I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know.
Yeah, like you and Gary Cannon.
Yeah, I was saying I started a GoFundMe for one of my friends who's a comedian. He works. I started a GoFundMe for him to quit comedy. And our goal was $6 and we raised 12. And I thought that was hilarious. It was a full like paragraphs of how much he needs to quit. He's never written a joke. Nobody likes.
Oh my God, this is awesome.
And then I text him laughing, look at Facebook. And then he texts me back, what an asshole. And then we laugh hysterically.
Yeah. And that is the difference. When you know each other, that is the difference. There's context, you know, and that's the thing with the whole digital universe is a world without context. You just pull anything you want, and then that's just what it is. You don't know this person. He just sees this one little video and decides to, and you don't know him either or her.
By the way, did you see what I did to Jay Washington?
No.
So Jay is just a comic. And as you know, it's so hard to get stage time. And if you run a show, you get hit up by hundreds of people.
Right.
So I took his headshot and I put it on Facebook, and I wrote on the top graphics, comedy club owner. And then I made a fake location called Jay Washington Comedy Club on Sunset. And then in the caption, I wrote, looking for new comics, $500 pay, unlimited stage time, free tape, and a referral to an agent. Please send me your headshot, bio, resume, links to your stand-up and your social media. Send them twice to make sure I get them. And he got, he had hundreds of people hitting him up. And he texted me, and I am on this couch, banging the couch, laughing because he was so mad at me.
You are the most dangerous person to know in the universe. Oh my God. It's so funny. It's not all driving videos, people. It's not all drive-by videos. Well, Josh, thank you so much for your time, man. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your insight into this world that I know everybody's kind of struggling to figure out. And you did an awesome job putting in the time and effort to really solve the mystery. And thank you very much for sharing it with us.
Do you mind if I stay on for another hour and just run my entire set by you?
Please. All right, let me end the recording, and then we'll just you and I will chat for a minute. Thank you so much, brother.
Yep.